Welcome to
Separate Bathrooms and other handy marriage tips. Hey there, it's Ali Daddo. You are with me currently in the bathroom. This is Separate Bathrooms and other handy marriage tips. And today we have a special guest. Very special to me because he's someone... He's already laughing. Special to me because he's someone that I've known for over 30 years. Yeah, over 30 years. He's been in my life. He's the father of my children. He's the love of my life. And last episode, he interviewed me and I thought, turnabout's fair play. So today, in the bathroom, I am interviewing Cameron Daddo.
Hi, honey.
Hi.
Shall I come in? Hang on.
Come on in.
I'm going to step out. And now I'm going to step in. Hi, honey.
Woohoo! Good acoustics in here, right?
You like the door? Like the door effect?
Awesome. How are you doing?
I'm okay. I had a busy night last night.
Please share.
I played my first music gig in a long time, my first live music gig. I've been sitting in this room doing Instagram, sort of, not concerts, but songs and things like that. And then to actually sit down in front of an audience and do it live and know that you can't stop, you just keep going, it was really thrilling.
Yeah.
It was great fun.
Yeah.
So my fingers are a bit sore. And I feel really good actually.
And you've got a bunch more coming up, right?
Yeah, I've got a bunch in January and February. So
fantastic.
Yeah, I've got work to do, sweetheart. I've got a lot of work to do.
That's all right.
Yeah.
It's work you love, so it's okay.
Is. Yeah, knocked the rust off last night.
All right. I've compiled a list of questions.
Okay.
And we'll see how we go.
Okay.
All right. We don't have grandkids yet, but when we do, what would you like your grandkids to know about you?
Oh, I think that they can rely on me and that they can come to me for life things like, do you want to know how to mow a lawn or bait a fishing hook or sing a song or paint a picture? Or those sort of things. Play golf, swimming lessons, surfing lessons or whatever. But that's, I would like them to be able to come to Pa or whatever they decide to call me and go, oh, can you show us how to do this or ride a bike? Or I think it's the action things that so just knowing that I'm reliable and trustworthy, safe, that I'm a safe place to hang out with.
I think, I know you miss this generation as in your family right now with golf, the love of golf. Still time. There's still time.
Oh, you mean what, with our kids?
Yes.
Right.
Though there's a possibility you might be able to grab a grandkid and bring them into your golfing world.
Yeah, I think it's, as we know with parenting our kids, if you try and push your kid into something, there's often a lot of pushback.
Oh yeah.
It's like, it's physics actually. The more you push, the more they push back, it seems. It's in equal proportions.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think the best thing is just to do things and have them come along and great example. I was mowing the lawn last week. I don't think you know about this. I was mowing the lawn. Bodhi was home. Bodhi's our youngest daughter. And she was home, and then she came out onto the balcony and was watching me. And then she disappeared, and I thought, she's going to come down. And within 30 seconds, she was down and she said, can you show me how to do this? And I showed her, and she mowed half the lawn. It was like, I didn't have a camera there, but I wanted to take a picture for you so you saw it.
I did actually see her push the lawnmower. Because I just happened to look outside and I was like, oh, and I thought, why is she not wearing shoes? That was my first thought.
Well, that's what I said to her. I said, because the catch is on the back. So I said, normally, this is bad. You should have boots on. Yeah. I should have boots on.
Yes.
She said, why do you have boots on? I said, well, the thing that's cutting the lawn
Yeah.
That's a blade, honey. That's underneath the thing. That your feet can get under there. So
Yeah.
anyway, but I didn't say anything to her about mowing lawns. She just followed what I was doing.
Yeah. Good on her. So, any moment in time you would like a do-over on?
Make a different action or do it again
Yes.
because it was so good?
Oh, well, that's a good question. Well, I was thinking do-over. I was thinking do-over as in, oh, I messed that up. I want to do that over. But if you would like to re-experience something again, just as is, you can take it either way.
I think I would probably do over our wedding on December the 7th, 1991.
And do it differently or just have it again?
Oh, I probably wouldn't have the scotch I had before we did it.
You might shave
And I
this
might
time?
shave. I was a little nervous. Yeah, just to experience that, maybe be a little more present than I was, I feel like. Yeah, I was very carried away with the moment that day, just to really, I feel like the reception was awesome.
Yes.
You know, that was really fun. I remember a lot of the reception, and I think normally people just get so pissed at their wedding they forget everything. But no, I remember all that, and I remember there were elements of our wedding day which were so beautiful. You know, obviously you walking down the aisle and appearing with your dad, and John English singing.
Beautiful.
You know, seeing friends and family that I haven't normally seen, you know. There's the old one which drives me. This drives me. So maybe it's not a do-over, but it was that moment where I was asked to sing at the carols.
I knew you were going to say the carols
Because it
story.
was just I was so embarrassing, and so I always use that as my benchmark. So for those of you that do not know about that, I was completely unprepared for a song that I had to sing with Carols by Candlelight in Melbourne in about 1986 or 87. And I was unprepared because I was busy on other things, and I thought, oh, I'll be able to do this, no problem. And I get there and I just blew it on national television and in front of however many people fit in the My Music Bowl. And then to have my parents, when I get home, go, that was a really hard song to sing, wasn't it? Oh, no, you don't want to hear that. So, yeah, so ever since then, I prepare for things. I over-prepare things so that I make sure that I'm on the money.
Yeah,
you know.
lesson learned.
So that would be the other one, I suppose.
What's something that people often get wrong about you?
I'm not as confident as a lot of people might think I appear. I'm really good at hiding. I've taught myself through life that, you can create an appearance. I'm sure that's why I became an actor. I'm sure that's, I do that as a profession to embody something. And so I think it's a confidence thing. People who often get to know me go, wow, you should feel better about yourself, about what you're doing, because, and they'll be like, you're really not very secure in how you feel about that, but there's this air of security.
Right.
That's something that I think people get. It's a misunderstood thing.
Yeah, I understand that.
But it also drives me as well, I think, to do things that like abseil, scared of heights. And it's like, no, I'm just going to do this and sort of block all the fear out and then go do it, and then better do it a second time so I understand what I actually did, because I have no recollection of what I just did.
And that's it. That'll do you.
Yeah.
All right. So do you think, having been what they called a teenage heartthrob back in the day, do you think that has hindered you as an actor?
It's a tough question because I don't really know the answer to that question.
Well, how about, what I mean by that is, when you've gone, because you were well known for your looks. That's what you were mostly well known for. You were the 21-year-old perfect match dude. And girls across Australia were in love with you. So you make the leap into acting. Do you think that then that has been challenging to get the roles that you would have wanted or to be taken seriously? Or has that shaped that beginning place for you? Has that shaped your acting career in a way that's been challenging for you?
I would say that's a fair assessment of my career, I suppose. I've said it before, and I wasn't the first to say it. You get one chance at a first impression. My first impression to many was as a game show host. And, I just turned 21, and as you say, there was this looks thing. That's something that I never really considered. I never considered myself to be, a heartthrobby type person. There's that idea of how I perceived myself. I never felt like I was, because I knew people that were way better looking than me, and I wasn't, So with that idea, as a game show host, I think people in positions of producers or casting directors, they only saw me in a particular way because that was their first impression. I got some shots. I can't say that I didn't get some opportunities to prove them wrong, or to open doors up. It's a funny business. It's so subjective. Yeah. And I think the shots that I got, I feel like I made the most of what I was able to utilize in myself. Like I always gave 150%. I did my homework. I wrote music.
Unless it was at the Maya Music Bowl.
Unless it was for that Maya Music Bowl. Thanks for the reminder. But I like for film, for the miniseries stuff I did early, I would do my character homework, and I would write music to inform the rhythm of the character. I did all these sort of different things to get me in the vibe, and maybe I overthought it. I don't know, but I still do things like that. Whatever the vibe is that takes me in order to create a character, and I can't say definitively whether my looks stopped me or. I just don't know. I think it's a strange one. Suffice to say, there's more I want to do.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot more to have.
Yeah.
I take the example of Hugh Grant in the most recent miniseries he's doing with Nicole Kidman.
The Undoing?
Yeah. And to me, he is way more interesting an actor now because of the chinks. He's not as... I mean, he looks older.
He looks his age. Yeah.
More worn. Yeah. There's more life there. And there's my projection on him going, there's more depth. Yeah. So maybe people viewed me as not having much depth, even though still waters run very deep with me.
Yeah. Well, which leads me on to my next question, actually. What is the most challenging part of yourself to accept?
Is this a therapy session? Do I really want to divulge that?
They'll get lighthearted after this one.
Okay. Challenging part to accept that I was going to say that I make mistakes. But see, I say that and then I go, well, what's the wisdom of the mistake? So that's probably not true. My skinny legs.
All right, we'll just leave that there.
Yeah.
What's the most important lesson that you've learned from being a husband?
From being a husband, I think stay true to your word. I think when you say you're going to do something, and stay true to it, and that I think that covers everything.
Yeah, I was going to say, how about being a dad?
And that's the same with being a dad. Follow through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever wished that you were someone else? Who and why?
Wish that I was someone else. When I was a kid, I wanted to be John Newcombe. Mm-hmm. He was my hero tennis player. tennis was my game as a kid, and I just thought, I was given a book called the John Newcombe Family Tennis Book, and it was a hardcover book, and there was him with his kids, and he had his own monogrammed clothing line.
Is that where your love of monogramming come from?
I think so. I just thought of that just then as I said that, because he had his own monogram. It was a face with a moustache and one eye.
Yeah.
And there he was with his wife Angie, and they had a tennis ranch in Florida, and it just looked. I was like, I want that, but it was the clothes. I think. I actually really, this is opening something up for me.
And you've always wanted to have your own line of T-shirts and golf wear, and with a little really cool
with the CD logo on it, which I've done. It's all there.
It's all connecting back.
The clothing, what works and what I like, and the shape of the shirts and short trousers and stuff like that for men.
Wow.
But it was John Newcombe, and it evolved into Greg Norman, the life of the jet-setting golfer. Again, there's Norman with his shark line of gear.
Yes, I'm seeing a theme here.
Yeah, and I actually had a thing. I loved Chris Christopherson in A Star Is Born. Mm-hmm. Just watching him play in A Star Is Born, and the man with his guitar, Neil Diamond, Hot August Night front cover.
He makes a great line of clothing.
yes, he does.
Or is it a line of jewellery? I'm wearing my Neil
Diamonds.
Diamond.
That's right. Yeah, so yes, I've definitely had my heroes up there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, interesting. No one recent though. They're all fairly.
No one recent.
Yeah, that's good. Maybe
no
just
contemporary.
Just happy to be you. Yeah, no contemporaries. Yeah,
no contemporary ones.
Yeah. What does your favourite day look like?
It depends on the mood. I will say that, because if I'm feeling like I'm feeling today, which is quite melancholy after the gig last night, just feeling very quiet, a cloudy, rainy day would be just perfect in front of a fire. And you there? That would be lovely.
Yeah.
And I'd say normally the way I normally am, it's a bright day. I get up early and I'm in the surf straight up, and then I'm eating fruit, just fresh, beautiful fruit salad and coffee, and back down to the beach again and in the waves. And I could just spend my whole day doing that, actually. Rolls for lunch, beer, fishing in the afternoon. It sounds like my old idyllic days in Yamba. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, which you often talk about as being the favourite time of your life.
That was late afternoon fishing and
well, the good news is that's completely doable again. Like, you're not asking for like a stroll around London followed by, a jet to Venice for dinner. You know what I mean? You're not talking about things that are out of your control.
And they are fun things, aren't they? Let's unpack that for a second. Doing those sort of adventures are fun.
Yeah.
I find them often quite exhausting, though. And all I want to do is get back to the Yamba one.
Yeah. What's the most relaxing?
Yeah. When you ask me about what it is, it's a mixture of firing up and like getting smashed around in waves, or going and playing 18 holes of golf for a few hours and exhausting myself that way, and then resting and then doing it again. I really love going hard at something and then resting and then doing that again, and food's involved in it.
Yeah.
Good food. Love a beer. I do love a beer.
I know.
But it's probably best to stop at one, though.
Your life has gone into politics. You've now been made Prime Minister of Australia. Congratulations.
Thanks. Thank you.
Prime Minister Dado.
Thank you.
What is your first thing that you're going to do? What are you going to change about Australia, laws, or anything that you want to do? Anything that you want to do Australia-wise that you as Prime Minister thinks that you might think we need?
I'm going to have to pause because I have to think about that.
No, it's a really big question.
It's a huge question. Um, it would be something to do with housing.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
After spending my time on the SBS show Filthy Rich and Homeless, I became aware of the housing issue in Australia. And every person in Australia deserves to have a roof over their head and be safe. And my time on that show, there are, I don't know what the numbers are, but there's a crazy number of people in Australia living in unsatisfactory homes. And there's a lot of people living on the streets and for various reasons. And it could so easily be fixed. The balance of wealth, I'm not begrudging anybody's wealth.
Yeah.
But the balance of that wealth seems disproportionate to the care of our communities. And I think if people who were uber wealthy, who, they're never going to be able to, I'm talking about people that are never going to be able to spend the amount of money that they have. And a lot of them do push their money across into worthy causes. Mine would be housing. Yeah. That would be probably one of the first things.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
That's my serious version of that answer.
Yeah, I like it. So 20 years from now, you're just a young person of 20 years from now, what, like you're about 60 in 20 years' time or something like that?
That'll do. In my brain.
In your brain.
70 is the new 60.
Yeah. So you'll be
that's what I asked about.
you'll be
60 is the new. Yeah, whatever it is.
20 years. You'll
It's too early.
You'll be 50. You'll be 75 in 20 years' time. Where would you like to be? Where would you love to see yourself if you had a magic mirror? 20 years' time, where would you like to be?
Oh, wow. I'd like to be living. I want to be here in Australia.
Yep.
That's where I want to be. I'd love to be on a plot of land with trees and close proximity to the ocean and to a fine golf course. Wouldn't it be great to be running a winery? I mean, that's something else. I just love the idea of working land and in an organic way, in a Rudolf Steiner kind of a way, where you're just taking care of the land, replenishing land, and then growing things to use from the land, which would be wine vines would be fabulous, and veggies, and so I think for me it's more of when I'm 75 to be going more inward and writing, and if that's writing a book or continuing to write songs. And the first thing I thought of was, as you were saying that, was where would I want to be? Would be I worked with Lorraine Bailey on The Sound of Music, and Lorraine was 79 when we were doing that. I think she turned 80 during that. Her work ethic, her determination, and her grit really made a mark on me, and I thought I can still be doing this when I'm 80 years old. And that would be part of it too, is still working,
yeah,
telling stories, being part of the Australian entertainment fabric. I think that would be so great, but also to have a place to retire to and replenish. So that I think that's such an important thing to do.
Basically, it's similar to Sam Neill, the life he's created for himself in New Zealand. He's got his winery and, you know what I mean, acting and living a quiet life in a lot of ways in New Zealand, going down to the coffee shop, and just seems so... He's just created a really earthy, solid life for himself, and is still out in the world, like really out in the world of entertainment.
Yeah, he's a wonderful example. He's a great one to say, well, if you can do it, Sam Neill, so can I.
Yeah.
I can have that. Brian Brown's the same.
Yeah, yeah.
And just wonderful examples of fellas and lifestyles to sort of go, okay, that's something
That's my
that
goal.
I would like to work towards. That takes work. It takes
Oh,
a lot of
yeah.
work. It doesn't just happen, and that's the illusion of it. I think that's what a lot of us do these days in this Instagram world. Is you look at that and go, "Oh, I want that." Mm-hmm. Those things take a lot of work to do.
Yes.
And effort and thought and visualizing, and
Yep.
so I'm into that.
What are you most proud of?
Overcoming challenges. Mm-hmm. I think that's something that I am very proud of. I don't know if I'm most proud of that, but I guess that's the answer to your question, is overcoming challenges, being determined. I mean, we had 25 years in the States. I don't need to remind you, they were challenging times. There were some great moments in there, though. The determination in the face of people saying, come home, give it up, stop, whatever that was, whether that was the career, our marriage, our whatever it was, and we're like, nah, I'm gonna work my way through this. And I'm proud of that. And there's been a lot of moments where, all the way back to the days of stuttering, where I could have just lay down and not, but I chose to do things that push me forward and stay busy. And I think I'm proud of my determination. Yeah.
Something that I think people don't know a lot about you is that, and this kind of goes back to, that bravado that you often put on, and people don't understand that you can be quite insecure. Though, that you have copped a lot of bad press.
Yeah.
Sometimes the Dado brothers cop a lot of bad press. Australia likes to make fun of the Dados at times. And I've never known anyone who is able to take that kind of ribbing as well as you do. In fact, not so much for the Australian press. I know that that's hurt. I know that it's hurt a lot. Though the ribbing that me and the kids give you about, imitating you and the things that you do and the things that you say, you're able to make that into such a lighthearted, fun thing. And I think you have as much as it's been hurtful, what the Australian press have said and done, I think you have a great resilience for being able to take it on the chin.
Oh, thank you. I come back to, I can't remember who said it. It was one of the people that you follow on Instagram who said that's the tax you pay.
Elizabeth Gilbert.
Elizabeth Gilbert said, when you're in the public life, the tax you pay, obviously you pay your monetary taxes, but there's a tax that you pay where you're up for ridicule or you're going to be questioned or judged rightly or wrongly, fairly or unfairly. Those things that go with it, that's the tax. And I think she said it best in that. And that is part of it. There are going to be the grubby magazines that make stuff up. They might pull this apart. This podcast has been dissected. Words, ideas taken out of context. It's been manipulated to tell a story that some press outlets want to tell. They just go, oh, we want to tell that story and let's pull that quote to back it up.
Yeah.
But it's out of context.
Yeah.
I got hurt very early in my career when I started as a children's TV show host. And I was really, my intention of being on TV and doing that was to share what I felt was a pretty awesome childhood with kids going, you can have this, we just sometimes we need to be shown what to do. And that's what I wanted to do on the kids show. And then some columnist who had a lot of sway wrote this really evil piece of wording around me. And it was like, wow, I had no idea I was going to be criticized. I didn't know that was part of the deal. But it came up very fast. So I learned from that, and it's like, well, that's, people are going to say stuff. It really hurts.
Yeah.
Though there's a great piece of writing, and it was written on the wall. I was supporting my friend boxing the other day, And I think it's Eleanor Roosevelt said something about being in the arena. If you're in the arena and you're fighting and you're doing it, you get to say something to me about it. But if you're not there, if you're just sitting on the sidelines, I don't care what you have to say because you don't know what it's like.
I think it was Ted Roosevelt.
Oh, it was a Roosevelt.
Yeah, because I think that's Brene Brown talks about that too. She says, you get to criticize me about my work when you've put yourself in the same position as me. Then I'll listen to you. But if otherwise, you can criticize me, but I'm not going to listen to it. And I think it's a great one for anyone to live by.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
All right, last question.
Last question.
What does love mean to you?
Love is.
Don't tell me it's a verb.
It's a feeling. I was just going to say, it's very challenging for me to put verbiage around it. Love is...
Or what does love look like to you? What does it feel like to you?
It's softening. It's that trusting and softening, and it's that feeling of being able to just relax into whatever you're doing. You just give yourself up to that feeling, whether it's, in love with you or Curly sitting at my feet right now. And I feel like he loves me. He leans into me. He comes looking for me. He's excited by the thought of what we're going to do together. His nose is on my toe. He just wants to be there, and that's that love. And I think it's that feeling that I would do anything for the kids, for you, for Curls. It's a lovely warm sense that I get of surrender and being safe in that place.
Beautiful. Well, our bathroom is filled with love right now, which is a nice thing to be filled with. Well, thank you, Mr. Dado. I've enjoyed interviewing you today.
Thank you, Mrs. Dado. It's just been lovely.
Yeah.
Surprising, actually.
Yeah, good.
I wasn't sure what you were going to ask me.
I know. Well, that was the thing. You asked me those questions last time. I had no idea, and I wanted to do the same to make sure you didn't have any idea either. So it's been good. I hope people have learnt a little bit more as well about us and had a little bit more of an insight. But it's been really lovely.
Yeah. Thanks, honey. See you next time.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Bye.